going to be an interesting day. I woke up like this. Remember, we've been getting money for Toby for her doctor bills and everything, and of course we had all kinds of prizes for everybody, so if you got a raffle ticket, like last week, everybody that bought a raffle ticket got something. And of course me, I manhandled and bullied my way into getting the fushigi ball.
Okay, so how's it work?
I am in the process of being a fushigi master.
Bless you. What does
I
it
know.
What is it?
It does magical things like.
I bet you could give a good massage with that.
Boy, I'll tell you. Yeah, Reiki masters, you ain't got nothing on me. Hey, you know, if you ever want to read about the Divine Fellowship and try to figure out what it is we do, this is actually a really good pamphlet back there. I have people all the time say, oh, what church do you go to? And I tell them, I says, oh, maybe I'll try it out. And I says, well, we're pretty liberal. What does that mean? So, and then the discussion goes from there. So it's actually a real easy discussion. What lies ahead of us and what lies behind us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Did you say that or did he?
We both did.
Okay. All right. What's on the calendar today? Hey, we did Qigong at 9:15 this morning. If you weren't there, you should have been. Maybe next week. Drum making at 1 o'clock. So anybody that wants to make a drum is going to be here. Anybody that would like to make a drum, ask Daryl. And do you have any spots left or have any?
No,
Not sure.
I won't know until 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Whoever doesn't show up.
Okay, that works. Tomorrow's President's Day. Hey, you have tomorrow off? Everybody do something fun? No? Okay. Drumming circle on Tuesday night. Okay. Mind shifters on Wednesday. Intuitive development on Thursday. And all kinds of other stuff. Sandra, you want to talk about stuff?
Good morning. I want to give you a heads up of some wonderful opportunities if your spirit so guides you. How many of you have had a oneness blessing here? Okay. There's going to be a training to be a oneness blessing giver on April the 19th and 20th. I have some flyers back there in the back, and if you're interested in that and you want to talk to me about it, I'll be around after a little bit. You can call one of the two trainers' names who are on here as well. But the blessing that we give, I'm just a hole in the flute. William and I are just the channels that it comes through. The giving and receiving happen in the same moment. So on the Sunday that we give oneness blessings here, it's just a oneness blessing is to quiet the mind so that spirit can get through the chatter and the squirrel cage and various things that go on. So we get blessings every time we give blessings. So it's a two-way thing. So if you're interested in that, please pick up a flyer. In 2010, October, Dr. Michael Rice came and Jeannie, his wife. How many of you went to those workshops? You remember? Why is this happening to me again? Healing through relationships, on creating consciously, communication. Did you hear what I think I said? Codependence to interdependence, laws of living. Michael Rice is coming back right here, May the 4th through May the 10th. There will be workshops every night from 7 to 9:30 right here, no charge, to give a love offering. On Saturday, kind of the pièce de résistance, to help us let go of all the things that have come up during that week. And he has all these tools for the healing of all that stuff that comes up. There will be a full day of mind shifters and still point breathing workshop. And how many of you have gone through the still point breathing either with me or with William or with Dr. Rice? Everybody in here? It is another one of those releasing of our sometimes, well, most of the time. The important stuff is hidden all the time. to let those things go. And so that will be on that final Saturday of May the 10th, and then he does charge for that, which is $125. So be thinking about that, saving some money. William and I will be assisting him, and then we will be doing, he'll have his DVDs available for sale during the week. And so just pick up one of his flyers. There's two of them actually back there, one on the still point breathing and one on the different workshops and what they're about. And invite some friends, invite people to come. And it's very much in harmony what we do here. On Wednesday night, we have a support group called Mind Shifters. It's to support everyone who goes to the workshops or wants to know about that to actually practice it. How many times have you gone to workshops and you think, oh man, that is just the greatest, that's going to just change my life. And the next week it's like, oh, that was really silly. That was really a good workshop. Third week is, wasn't that a good workshop? Fourth week is, what workshop? So, William and I facilitate Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 using and practicing all the tools that Michael Rice offers. I could have people do testimonies, but I won't. It's changed our lives tremendously. We've known Dr. Rice since 1990. And it's been a very fundamental, foundational practice of letting go of everything we think we know so that we can get Spirit's voice to guide us. So if you have any questions, you can always ask William or ask me. William, raise your hand. Hi.
Please identify yourself.
Okay, thank you very much.
So let me get this straight. Something every day, every night of the week, and a Saturday workshop for $125.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make this real quick.
What's the
I've
deal?
done a calendar. I just printed a calendar out for the communion. Some of you like to give back to the church by doing putting the communion together that we have every week. And so I've highlighted just the Sundays. If you want to, just write your name and your phone number in that slot. We're going to try to get them on the calendar so that when you get the calendar each month, it'll help to remind you that you have communion that week. And we thought that would be an easy way for you guys to remember. So I'm going to send that clipboard around. That does need to go to both sides. Also, we're doing another potluck for a fundraiser as well. Next week, it's going to be an Italian theme. We're going to do lasagna, garlic bread, salad, and some, I think, cookies for dessert. I do need some help, though, with some of the food. So I've just jotted down a couple of the things that we're going to be needing help with. So if anybody would like to, volunteer some food for this, that would be wonderful. So you can just write your name next to it or whatever, what you can bring. Anything gluten-free, because there's a lot of people who do have gluten. Who go gluten-free. We're going to have a big, huge pan of lasagna that we're going to bring. So anything else to help prepare the meal. It's $5 per person. I'll start that. $5 per person, $10 per family. So, and that's going to be good.
I can contribute my appetite. Fun. Always stuff going on at the church. Isn't that great? Oh, I almost forgot. Well, I didn't almost forget, but we have two patron saints, John Lennon and George Carlin.
Yeah. George and John.
Especially after the Beatles have just had their 50th anniversary. John, these are places I'll remember all my life. Though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, some remain. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends. I still can recall some are dead and some are living in my life. I've loved them all. Sounds like a song, doesn't it? And George, I'm not concerned about all hell breaking loose, but that a part of hell will break loose. It'll be much harder to detect. Probably true. I didn't say it was your fault. I said I was blaming you. The name for the search engine Google, and of course the company too, is derived from the word Google, which refers to the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. That's a big number. Does anybody have that much money? Yeah, Google might. Things that make you go, Doesn't mean I believe in all this stuff, but at least it makes you go, Once conform, once do what others do because they do it, and a kind of lethargy steals over all of the finer senses of the soul. When we feel that we lack whatever is needed to secure someone else's esteem, we are very close to hating them. When somebody was listening? When we feel that we lack whatever is needed to secure someone else's esteem, we are very close to hating them. That was, I should have said, okay. That was 1715 by Luc de Clapet de Vignereg. I used to speak French fluently, and that word has a problem for me. So, we always like those who admire us. We do not always like those who we admire. He who is outside his door already has the hard part of his journey behind him.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are so fond of ill luck that they run halfway to meet it. Okay. Business consolidations. Hale Business Systems, Mary Kay Cosmetics, Fuller Brush, and HR Grace Company will merge and become Hale Mary Fuller Grace. Okay. We never really grow up. Oh, that's a good thing. We only learn how to act in public. I think I'm going to put that right there. This state is so dry that the Baptists are considering sprinkling, the Methodists are using a wet washcloth, the Presbyterians are giving rain checks, and the Catholics are trying to turn wine back into water. As a recovering Catholic, I believe that. So. No word in... stewardesses is the longest word typed with only the left hand, and lollipop is the longest with the right. Yeah, and I know everybody's kind of... It's impossible to sneeze with your eyes open. Don't try it. Maine is the only state whose name is just one syllable. I know everybody's kind of going...
Is that true?
No. No word in the English language rhymes with month, orange, silver, or purple. Except another purple.
Slurple.
Slurple? Okay.
Well, let's...
STEWARDESS.
Right.
Did you say the right hand?
No. I said left. But it's my left. It's my left.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I have taken way too much time this morning. One more. Eve, I've got a problem. God, what's the problem, Eve? I know, sorry guys, in advance. I'm sorry guys. Okay. Eve, I know that you've created me and provided this beautiful garden, all of these wonderful animals, as well as that hilarious comedic snake. But I'm just not happy. Why is that, Eve? I'm lonely and I'm sick to death of apples. Well, Eve, in that case, I have a solution. I shall create a man for you. Man? What's that? A flawed creature with many bad traits. He'll lie, cheat, and vain. All in all, he'll give you a hard time. But he'll be bigger, faster, and will like to hunt and kill things. I'll create him in such a way that he will satisfy your physical needs. He will be witless and will revel in childish things like fighting and kicking a ball about. He won't be as smart as you, so we'll also need your advice to think properly. Sounds great, but what's the catch? Well... you can have him under one condition. What's that? Dear God. As I said, he'll be proud, arrogant, and self-admiring. So, you'll have to let him believe that I made him first. And it will have to be our little secret. You know, woman to woman. Let's sing a song. Oh, I gotta put the thing down. You know, that thing. At least now I've been endeared by all the women in here.
You know which side your red is
Hey,
better on.
got that right.
We gonna put that on?
Ain't nobody happy if Mama's ain't happy. Boy, you know, I almost remembered the song that we're going to sing. Almost.
Good morning. Join me. No, you gotta get your little moments of power and everything. Let's move, Mr. Fujiki. Is my Bible in there? Sorry.
Gee, this does do a lot.
I want to talk to you today, but I want to talk to you in a second. I want to look at you for a second. What are you guys doing here? It's RadCon, isn't it?
I'm a designated camera person.
You're designated.
I gave up
person.
Sunday to come to.
Oh, God bless.
Half the people at RadCon go to this church.
And the problem with that would be.
Let's have a costume day.
We do that now and then. How are you? I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here. I want to talk to us today about. No, it's here. If I use the word, your walls are going to go. And I don't want your walls to go down. So let me come at it from a back door, okay?
Easiest way to approach it.
You know, in the house I grew up in, family always came in the back door. Company or people you didn't like came in the front door. But if you came in the back door, you came through the back porch and you came through the kitchen.
And you didn't knock.
And you know, because you couldn't hear it anyway. You just came in and, hey, I'm home, or hey, it's me. You know, I don't know. But, you know, the back door was like a sacred place for people who were safe. You know, I think that's kind of a hard thing sometimes in our world is to feel safe. And I want you to feel safe today. Because without feeling safe, everything else is hard. You get tired of things being hard. Last week we talked a little bit about the hard part is making a decision. Once we make a decision, whatever path we're going to take, the hard part's over. Then it's a matter of just doing the deal. You know? If I'm making a decision, once that decision is made, the anguishing part is, I want to, I don't want to, but I need to, but I don't want to. You know, when we get through that, then once we're determined, once we've got the head and heart aligned, then we can just do anything. We're unstoppable. The key is when our head is telling us one thing, our heart is telling us another, and the guts are telling us something else, and then our spiritual being is going somewhere else than that. Then we're all confused and stuck and derailed and struggling. But when our spirit is locked into truth, now that's not my truth, that's not somebody else's truth, that's its truth. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. When we get to a place where that line is in the sand, the head's in the same place, Well, the head can go, well, I should do it. I don't want to. And then that's all that confusion going on. But when we can get in alignment with, this is my truth, and my truth is in alignment with divine source, then it's perfectly okay for me to have a decision to yes or no. I don't have to do that, or I could do that if I choose. When we're in that place of making that decision, then everything opens up for us. But when we're stuck, it's usually because either it's not time or we're not in alignment with truth. And the hard part is figuring out what truth is, because we talked last Sunday about how the heart can deceive, we can deceive ourselves. We have two parts to our heart. The part of our heart that is wrapped up in people-pleasing and trying to make you like me, doing what I think I should do, trying to make God like me. And then there's another part of my heart that's made up of compassion and made up of this willingness to be of service and this willingness to make a difference in the world. And when we can get into the heart space of being willing to be of service, then all that other stuff goes away. And then it doesn't matter if you approve or disapprove. What matters is that my spirit approves of what I'm doing. And I'm in that state of being. When we're struggling with life, sometimes we struggle because of our history. If you're in this room, you probably have a history that has pain in it. And you're in a place where you are willing to move beyond pain and live happy. Everyone in this room has already made the choice to live happy. You may not know how yet, but you've made that choice. That's why you're here. Because happy is that elusive thing that sometimes if we're in that other side of our heart, we think is out there. The better car, the better house, the better spouse, the better this, the better that. When happy really resides in the other part of the heart space. Well, you've made that commitment already. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You've already made the commitment to yourself to find happy. And happy can be a choice. I choose to be happy no matter what's going on around me. And sometimes, happy is that spontaneous moment that it just clicks. And you don't know how you got there. Isn't that fun? Don't you love that? And you never know when that's going to happen. Being in the state of being a willingness to be happy sets us up for that. We can't help but have it. It's going to happen. If you're not happy yet, keep on with that commitment. It will find you. It's not a matter of you having to run it down and beat it to death and make it part of your own. It will find you. It will find you. But here's the hard part. Back to that choice, making the choice to be happy. Because sometimes we don't feel like it. When we have body pain, we don't feel like being nice to other people. We don't feel like being appreciated. We don't feel like it. When we have old traumas that we're trying to work through, we don't feel like it because we have that pain, that emotional pain. So whether it's spiritual pain, emotional pain, physical pain, mental pain, when there's pain, it makes it difficult. The good book is a good book for a reason, because it has some cues or clues for us to help us in that path. Whether you are Christian or not a Christian, doesn't matter. The clues are the same. They work whether, it's like, if you have a car key, it's going to work. If you put it in the right car. These keys will work when you put them in your right life, when you're ready for them. I'm going to share with you a couple of things. Let me share with you, oh, not that one. Don't you love it? How many people here think I'm perfect?
Would you look at my hand, please?
Because here's the deal. If you think I'm perfect, oh my gosh, you're going to be so disappointed. If you expect me to be loving and light and wonderful all the time, I'm not going to do it Sunday morning. But I try. I do my best. I know you do too. But for those times that we're not perfect, we need to cut ourselves some slack. Because that's human nature. It's divine nature that steps us beyond that, gets us into that compassionate heart. Sometimes it's hard to just let all that stuff go. It's hard to do that. Because sometimes we allow the wound that we've experienced or wounds that we've experienced to define who we are. They can be defining moments in our life, but they don't define who we are. Our choice defines who we are. What we do with that defines who we are. So, Colossians 3, verse 12. As to those who have been chosen of God, holy and beloved, put on a heart of compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bearing with one another, forgiving each other. Whoever has a complaint against anyone, just as the Lord forgave you, so also should you. And beyond all these things, put on love, which is the perfect bond of unity. It's all about love. It's just all about love. It all boils down to love. Love. Love, man. Love, man. But it's something we put on. It's something that we acquire. Affection is that I like you because you like me. But love, this compassionate love, represents kindness. I read a sci-fi book one time. I don't remember the plot, I don't remember what was going on. But there was something that happened there. And somebody said, it's a kindness. Let me do this thing for you because it's a kindness. And that has stuck with me. One stupid little phrase. It's a kindness. We are incapable of kindness if we're hurting. But if we're in that place of compassion, the compassionate side of our heart, it doesn't matter how much pain we're in. Kindness is the option. Kindness is there. Kindness is the expression of the compassion that's already there. When we get to that compassionate place. You know the other word for compassion? It's mercy. Mercy. Compassion is tricky because compassion, mercy, doesn't require anybody to be deserving of it. I'll be nice to you if you're nice to me. Well, that's nice. But when we can be compassionate and express kindness, whether somebody's deserving of it or not, that's huge. That's huge. Because then we step out of that, it's all about me, into it's all about love. It's not all about you, it's all about love. Because if it's all about you, then I'm still in that self-serving part of my being that it's all about people-pleasing. And that doesn't work either. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other, just as God in Christ has also forgiven you. And the verse ahead of that, this is Ephesians chapter 4. The verse ahead of that, can I read a few ahead of that? It's really interesting stuff. Of course, I find this stuff interesting. You may not. Let him who steals steal no longer. Okay? Okay, so if you're going to stop stealing, that's a good thing. Rather, let him labor, performing with his own hands what is good, in order that he may have something to share with who is in need. Okay, so it's not just a matter of stop doing one thing. The universe doesn't like a vacuum. So if you're just going to stop this, then we need to add something else too. Otherwise, something will come in that we may not like. So if you're going to stop doing something you don't want to do, anything habituated, that we don't want to do anymore, then you replace it with something better. And then the new habit has a better chance of seeding itself rather than leaving an empty space. Okay? Let no unwholesome word proceed out of your mouth, but only such a word as good for edification, according to the need of the moment, that it may give grace to those who hear. Kindness. It's a kindness. Maybe that person doesn't deserve it, but it's a kindness. Do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Followed by the replacement, be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other, just as you've been forgiven. It's hard to be tender-hearted. You know, most of us in this room are really tender-hearted. And you know what happens when you're tender-hearted? You get hurt. But I don't want to be hurt anymore. And here's the key. If somebody hurts our tender heart, we can have compassion on ourselves and we can have compassion on that person. We can forgive it and we can move on. Because it's their pain talking. It's their pain acting out. Because underneath their pain is the capacity for compassion, but they can't get there because they're still hurting. But if we can find compassion, then we're in a better spot. It's not about making it right or making it equal. When we can let go of that, oh my gosh, it's so freeing. You know, if I expect the world to be equal, okay, this bad thing happened, and I get to do a bad thing back to you. Well, that negative energy is non-sustaining. So anything that I do negatively, like yelling or paying back something, anything that I do negatively, that takes money out of my bank account, my energetic bank account. Well, people are going to take advantage of you. And which is the better price? Which is the higher price? Being depressed, bereft, depressed, and deprived all at the same time. I love making up names. The energetic price that we pay for payback is far worse than having somebody taking some physical thing from us. The energetic payback is far worse. From someone who's been on that side of the table and dished it out back. It's a price. It's too expensive. That's a luxury I can no longer afford. Darn it. Sometimes I just think, oh, it feels so good if I could just... No, it doesn't feel good. It leaves you feeling empty. Psalms 51. I love this verse. I read this verse too last week. I still love it. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Because you know, we don't have to do it. How fun is that? I don't have to be perfect. Thank you, God. You don't have to be perfect. But when we move into that compassionate state, that gets to be a gift. I don't have to just knuckle down on trying to be too passionate. Something might be amiss in that. But if I can be at peace, if I could just be still a minute and ask God, higher power, holiday is, source, whatever it is for you, asked to be gifted with that, I'll give you with that. It may not happen instantaneously, but it might. Sometimes it does. Sometimes the shift is just instantaneous. Oh, I'm in a good place. Bad place, good place. How nice is that? The more we do, the faster it is. But that place of compassion is a place where kindness then, compassion is the state of being, kindness is the result of that. And kindness is the word that I wanted to use for that. Kindness is not the opportunity for us to just be a doormat. At the same time, it's an opportunity for us to step out of the pain and into a clear space. It's all about stepping out of the pain. Because if I can step out of the pain no longer has control over me. I've heard it said a couple of times that, when we hold a grudge or we're angry at somebody else, then we give them an apartment in our brain, in our mind, free of charge, rent-free, and they can live there, being as mean and hateful and nasty as our memories will allow us. And they get to live there as long as we let them. But forgiveness, or getting to this clear place of compassion, throws their butts out of our brain, and we have more power over what we're thinking and what we choose to be about, not what they have inflicted upon us. Because often, somebody will do something, and I'm stewing about it for months, and I'll say something to them, finally. What? What are you talking about? Did you hear what I think you said? Did you hear what I think I said? Whatever. Well, there's something else. Do my best. It'll come back. Or it'll come back another time. So compassionate tenderheartedness. Oh, I remember. I love it. In the New Testament where it says, turn the other cheek, part of that was when someone would slap you, right-handed. If you turn your other cheek, they can't hit you. If your face is turned the other way, they can't get a good smack. So it's not about just, okay, they'll hit me on that side. No, it's about, don't put yourself in a place to be smacked around. Be kind internally. Be kind to oneself. We have a right to have safe boundaries. We have a right to feel safe. It is from that place of safety that we can move into that compassionate state of being, and we can express that kindness. Don't you love it? Turn the other cheek. Don't let them hit you. Don't let them hit you. So what that means is you can be kind to yourself and not be abused. Nobody says you have to be abused. There's no shame in running from an abuser. Because guess what? There's takers in this world and there's givers in this world. If you're a giver and haven't learned yet to take, you'll probably hook up with somebody who's a taker. Because then you can give, and they'll take, and it's all good. Until you get to the point where you think, oh, when's it my turn? And resentment and bitterness and anger and all that stuff that we were just talking about really more aside, and that all comes to the surface. The key is to be in a place where you're giving and receiving in equal measure. Because when we're giving and receiving, there's balance. So if you're in a taking, that's not love. If you're in a giving, that's not love. Now, let me clarify this. Because there's sometimes when health requires that you receive more than 50-50. But guess what? There may be other things that you're giving that maybe you can't give physically, but maybe your kindness is expressing itself in another way. I would like us to take a few minutes today and express a kindness to Trudy, one of our own, who is experiencing cancer. And even if you don't know who she is, you can express kindness to a stranger and it still has value for them. If you were not well, if you were not experiencing good health, it might be your time to receive and receive and receive and receive. I can tell you, Trudy has given and given and given. She's the one who always brings flowers when she's there. So why not allow yourself to receive once in a while? It's not fair. Well, yeah, it is. Allow yourself to be the recipient sometimes. And allow yourself to give the kindness. So I'm going to walk you through a guided meditation. And after this guided meditation, I'm going to hand out some pieces of paper. And I just want you to write a kindness on there to her. And I'm going to put them together in a little booklet. Okay, so let's do our guided meditation.
Trudy.